Pleasure to meet you. Thank you for taking the time to talk with us.
No, thank you.
Of course. I know you in New York, right?
I am, yeah.
Man, I know you a Cali girl, so I'm sorry for the BS we putting you through right now.
I know. I mean, it is what it is. It's all good.
All right, all right. So talk to me. How you been spending your quarantine? Give me some vibes.
Man, it's been kind of hard. I mean, the first 2 weeks were probably the hardest. The first week, I was in the middle of recording, and then everybody kind of decided to go home. It was like right before the quarantine started. It was like a Friday, and everybody was like, "Ah, we can't stay here." Everybody. It kind of killed the vibes in the studio at
Wow.
first, and I was also in the process of moving, and so everything kind of paused. So the first week, I was like in between two places, and super uninspired, and like
Right.
going to Costco, like trying to get as much as I could. It wasn't much of a panic thing, but it was kind of like a scary thing because I didn't know
Right.
what was about to happen. And, I'm kind of settled in my new place now. And I'm just trying to now reset and get a routine and get used to just being at home because I know all the artists are probably not used to being at home, like being
Right.
always on the go. So I've just been trying to stay inspired and create and finally just block out the noise and just try to make the most of this situation.
I mean, listen, and you've been doing that. Last
Yeah,
night kicking off girls with guitar. I watched
yeah.
it. You you
Thank
got a
you.
you got a fan right here. I'm gonna tell you
Yeah,
that.
that was fun. Instagram Live was a really cool way to stay connected to the
Right.
fans, and I think it's cool because people are seeing different sides of their favorite artist right now. Because you at home, you're in the comfort of your own home, so you open
Yeah.
up a little bit differently. I think when you're at home. So it's been cool. Girls with Guitars was really dope.
I mean, and I like that you say that because at the end of the day, I think what this whole situation is showing us is that we're all humans, no matter
Right,
race, age, gender. Like, and of course, with you being an artist, you're also a fan.
right.
Like, who can you say you've been a fan of just watching through Instagram the last couple of weeks or days? Like, you didn't know, oh, I didn't know this person was this cool or like something like that.
I don't know. I mean, honestly, watching like the battles has been really cool and
Yeah.
has shown a different side of people, like the whole Sean Garrett in the Dream. I was like, oh, like super entertaining, like
Yeah.
super entertaining. But yeah, it was a few people that did at home concerts, like Chris Martin from Coldplay and
Hmm.
even John Legend. Like it was just really, really cool and intimate. Yeah, yeah, I definitely was a fan of those.
Is there like a particular versus battle, let's say female edition, that you would want to see? And if so, which two would you like to see?
Ooh, I don't know. That's a great question. That's kind of tough, actually.
It could be hit for hit.
I don't know. Maybe like Mary and
Lord and Mary.
Lauren. That would be cool. Yeah, that would be dope.
There we go. There we go. Cook a little something. And, going back to what we were just talking about, girls with guitar, you got Tori Kelly, Alessia, Cara, Umi. Like, I'm curious, what is it about each artist that like impresses you the most about their skill set?
Man, I mean, the thing about Girls with Guitars is just about girls who are passionate about music and they play guitar.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they all have in common is like all of them have a completely different vibe, but are super talented, super dope, like can make anybody just stop and listen. You
Hmm.
hear Alessia's voice so unique. Tori Kelly, her tone is just unique. And Umi's got like this whole vibe to her.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's enough women supporting women and especially at this time it is that time to show love to other people and to show love to other artists. So I think that's really the idea of Girls with Guitars, and that's why those particular artists were perfect for it.
Listen, when you mentioned you was a fan of Tori Kelly when she did the Dear No One, I felt that right here because that was
Oh
my
yeah.
joint.
Yeah,
that was my joint back then. So let me let
right.
me let me pose you this because I remember talking to Omarion a while back, right before he kicked off the second Millennium Tour, and he
Mm.
said if he could do an all female tour, he would include you, Tiana Taylor,
No
Missy,
way.
Tinashe. So I'm gonna ask you this a question: if you can put together an all-female lineup for a tour, one night show, actually, who would you pick? Three
That's
artists.
tough. That's really tough because there's a lot of us out here. You know, it's
Uh
a lot
huh.
of women. I mean, just because of the different genres we represent, I think it would be dope to not just have R&B, but obviously, you know, have the Ari Lennox and Summer
Mm.
Walker maybe, but like add the Tori Kelly and Alessia Carr and Umi and even Orianthi, you know, because
Mm.
she's a sick female guitar player, you know, and
Yeah.
Leon Lahavis and it's so many. Like I don't know. I mean, there's just so many talented female artists. You can't put them all on one bill. Like
You see?
how do you do that?
And the crazy thing is, you're absolutely right about that, and I appreciate. It goes back to what you were preaching last night, and even now, this camaraderie that you have for not just R&B artists, but just women in general, all across the platforms for genres. That's really dope.
Yeah, I mean, music is a language everybody speaks, right? Why be boxed, you know, into one thing?
That's a fact. And you said something last night which caught my ear. You were saying you felt like you improved or got better as a singer
Hmm.
because of Brandy.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, woo! Not a lot of people know Brandy got busy or gets busy. What was it about Brandy that you
Right.
appreciate the most?
um Not so much the runs but just the choice, like
Mm.
the like people think, you know, it's impressive and it's cool, and it's cool to do all these runs and stuff, but Brandy knew what she was doing as far as her tone
Uh
and
huh.
her note choice, and like her ad-libs were just so unique. Like who thinks of that, who does that,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And I remember Rodney was talking about how he got a lot of those cool things out of Brandy's voice when he was working with her, was like sampling her voice on the
Mm-hmm.
keyboard and playing different stuff. You know, so just being
Mm.
creative like that, as that team did, like that's how you open up new ideas and you do something people have never heard before, or that make people feel something. And I think that's what Brandy has done. She's made people feel something beyond just being impressive and technical, but just purely with her voice, you know?
I hear that wholeheartedly. You played a joint last night. You were like, I don't know, it might be on the album, might not. Passcode, my God. That was such a fire record. Like, I'm curious,
Thank
with the
you.
time you have now, no problem. Have you been able to dig back into the crates and like play some of your old stuff? Like, what's been your thought process just looking back or hearing back some of your old stuff?
Man, I actually have. It's funny because sometimes I refer to my old stuff to motivate myself and to inspire
Mm,
myself, you know? Sometimes your old self, sometimes you got to get back to your old self, you know what I mean?
yeah,
So
yeah.
I have been doing that, and I think that's probably why I played that song, was because I needed to go back to that her, you know, and I wrote that song like I don't know, 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Wow.
So yeah, so I have been kind of listening, and then you know another live that I did, and I actually did it on television on the broadcast. I sang another unreleased song that may or may not be on the album. You know, I guess it's that time just to dig back, and I have been.
Listen, I know we've been waiting for this debut album. I know
Yeah.
you busy, you working. Like, talk about your creative juices, how they've been flowing during this time. Plotting for this debut. Has anything changed?
Well, I've been doing a lot more. Unique like beats, and I've been producing a lot more, and I'm trying to teach myself
Mm,
how to use Ableton because I'm like a Logic person. So I've been like just digging through samples and kind of just teaching myself different techniques as far as my producing so I can get better at that. So yeah, that's really what I've been doing, coming up with more different chord changes and just trying to do stuff that's unique. You know, right now I feel like we all should just be kind of fearless because we got nothing to lose right now.
right.
We don't have anything to lose. Like now's the time, the freedom to be creative and do what you want to do.
I hear that wholeheartedly. A couple months back, I remember I was in the studio listening to Janae's project, Janae Aiko, and the
Mm.
BS record came on. And she had a lot of glowing things to say about you.
uh,
That record, talk about how that record came together with you and her.
what? Okay, so she had texted me. and was like, hey, I have this idea for like a cool kind of girls anthem, I think she said. And I
Yeah.
was like, okay, dope. Like, I've been dying to do a Janae song. Like, first of all, I'm really a huge Janae Aiko fan. Like, I feel like there wouldn't have been much of a volume one if I didn't listen to the amount of Janae Aiko that I did listen to a while back. Like, she really inspired me. And even since she's a poet and I'm a poet, like, I think we vibe on that level as well. But it's funny because she said in the song, I just bought a new whip, don't need a gasoline. I said, did you really buy a Tesla? I said, did you really buy a Tesla? She was like, yep, I got a Model X. I said, I got one too.
There you go.
And
boom.
So I said, so you be flexing on your exes in your Model X. She was like, we got to say that in the song. We got to say that. So I was like, okay. So then I went in the studio and I kind of just went in, like, I just was like, whatever, balls to the walls, like, I don't even care, like, let's just make this one of those, one of those.
Them little anthems. Now you got one. Y'all got one.
One of those. So yeah, that's how it came about.
Yeah, shout out to y'all. Y'all pen game, something serious.
Thank you.
Before I go, I gotta ask. I know you be moving the pen with the songwriting, but as far as the poetry, has the poetry, is it back in motion? Are we gonna get a volume 1 poetry book?
That would be cool. That's a great idea. I actually thought about doing something like that, but I remember what made me really realize, like, I really got to do more and more poetry. Like, that's such a big part of who I am, is when I was in LA randomly and I was driving with my manager and we saw a sign that said Poetry Slam. And so he was like, let's just go in there, right? And I was like, okay. It was like on La Brea or something in LA, and we just pulled over and parked, and we just went in there. He yelled at the window like, hey, how much is it to get in? And the guy was like, oh, $10. And we were like, okay, cool. We paid our $10, and I'm sitting there, and I see my manager talking to somebody, and then the guy comes up to me. He's like, hey, do you want to go up there? And I was like, nervous as hell. I don't know why. I was nervous. It's a crowded room, super diverse.
Right.
Up on the stage. Well, first the guy's like, and now introducing this young poet, her. And everybody's, they're clapping at first. They're like, okay, cool. Her name is her. Then they see that it's me, and they're like, and there's like a audience that just gasps all together. Like, it's just
they couldn't handle it.
Gasp. And I did this poem that I wrote that I never showed anyone ever. Like, I never showed anyone.
Wow.
And they loved it, and I just thought, okay, maybe I'll release this. Maybe I should, really do something with it.
Volume 1. Listen, listen. I'm here for it.
Could be dope.
I'm here for it. Listen, if you're able to get a volume 1 out, just put my name a little bit, like CL, inspired by. But listen, okay. I really appreciate you taking the time. Actually, before I let you go, I'm curious. Status, the festival. What any updates, or like how you trying to make it happen?
Updates. The difficult thing about it, and I've been talking with my team, and we're just really trying to pray and hope for the best. We're doing a lot, behind the scenes. I know they're doing a lot more, than me, just trying to figure everything out. Even the logistics of it is tough, because all the festivals that were in the top half of the year are now trying to move to the end of the year, so it's going to be like a wave of festivals, and who knows how long this thing is going to last. I think I'm just hoping for the best, and I think everything will work out the way that it's supposed to. I pray it does still happen, but we'll see. Of
course. I definitely have faith. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Any last words for your fans before I let you go?
Man, stay strong, stay inside, like really stay inside, because I went outside and I seen a lot of people not taking it seriously, and it's like, it is really serious. And, and thank you to all the healthcare workers. My mom's a healthcare worker, and fortunately she doesn't have to, she's not really working with patients that have the virus, but she's still at a hospital. And so I worry a little bit every day. And she's in California, so keep her in your prayers, and I'm keeping everybody else, every other nurse, in my prayers.
Love is love. Shout out to Mama Her.